Welcome to the Institute of Spiritual Enlightenment. I'd like to ask that you find that quiet space, or remain there in that quiet space where you are. Say to yourself, peace. Be still and feel the oneness of all creation. Feel the power of space, knowing that you are the divine one. Allow yourself now to be open and receptive to the rhythm and the movement and the divine healing of the universe. Let it center within your being, and then let it radiate out into this room. And for this time that we spend together in oneness and harmony, we say Ashe, Ashe,
Ashe,
Ashe. Well, today we have a different type of program, but I think it's a good program. We're going to be honoring the ancestors, and we put together a little something for you. So I'm going to let Ashe go first. Are you going to do yours first?
Yes, I think that's the order. Yeah. You won't know who I am from what you perceive. But if you listen when I speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am. And then you'll believe. Okay. Okay, so let's start over. You won't know who I am from what you perceive. But if you listen when I speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am. and then believe and have a life of peace because your soul is at ease. You see, my source is the essence by which this world was conceived, which means that I was here before the birds and the bees. And if you have not guessed, I am eternity. But if you have guessed, and you guessed correctly, we share the same destiny. To realize that we are the God and Trinity that is talked about in Christianity. See, some would say that's vanity. Don't go as far. It's insanity. That's because they believe in Western theology. But as for me, you see, I choose ancient Moorish philosophy. Not to say that's the only path to immortality, but that's the path for me. This time, you see, because I devote my life to helping others be free, so they in turn can experience their full liberty. This is done because the He and I and the I need peace.
Good morning. And Pastor Virgie. As a kid, I did a lot of things creatively, and as a child, as a youth, as a young, and one of them was poetry. And I wrote a poem that it turned into a song later. And I'm gonna express that to you right now. Wrote it at 17 as a virgin. I'm a brown, sweet sugar daddy. There's a tongue still like. Can you taste it? I'm all the good things wrapped up in one. Can you stand it? What am I? I'm your inner thoughts. I travel through your mind. I have no sense of direction nor that of time. I have no dimension except when you decide to take a trip through your mind and see what you can find. As much woman as any and too much man to be, I'm your house with sugar, ageless as Father Time finer than the best wine. I have as much pride as a tameless lion, priceless as any treasure, weightless like a feather, pleasure beyond measure. What am I? I'm your inner thoughts. I travel through your mind. I have no sense of direction nor that of time. I have no dimension except when you decide to take a trip through your mind and see what you can find. That's the poem. I'm a brown, sweet sugar sugar daddy, that's a tongue's delight. I'm all the good things wrapped up in one. Take me tonight. I guess you imagined, but too small to be rational. It's about all there is to be about. Is there any more doubt? Can you taste it? Can you stand it? What am I? I'm your inner thoughts that travel through your mind. I have no sense of direction, nor that of time. I have no dimension except when you decide to take a trip through your mind and say to find. Thank you. You know, this is Memorial Day, and this is a time when we really, I know it's a commercial type of thing, but we as melanated people also have to understand that we have to honor our ancestors. One of our great prophets said, honor thy mother and father that thy days may be long upon the earth. I truly believe that, but I think that we have forgotten how to do that, how to honor your mother and your father. And then when you even think about it, what does that mean to us, to honor your mother and father? Because a lot of mothers and fathers don't even know how to be mothers and fathers to their young ones. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to protect. They haven't been shown. So I asked the question of the ancestors, what is it that you want us to know? What is it that you want us to do for you, that energy that was still here? Honor them. Just honor them. For they knew not what they were doing when they were here, just like we are looking and trying to understand how we are to be while we are here. Because they're no longer encased in the flesh. Now, a lot of times we think that they knew. Some did, some did not. Most were afraid. Most of them were afraid. They were afraid for you. They were afraid for what you might know, for what you may find out. How would you handle it? What were you going to do with the information when you did it? A lot of our ancestors were afraid. I'm not talking about the ancient ones. I'm talking about our more recent ancestors. You know, you may have relatives who had just passed over. They were afraid. They didn't know. They didn't know that they didn't know. They did their best. So honor them anyway, because had it not been for them, you would not be. You just simply would not be. For you chose them. You looked down and you decided to use that male and that female to get together, that they would give you the body, the vehicle that you want to be here for your expression. We keep thinking inside of a box. We keep thinking inside of this human flesh that we have, and we stifle ourselves. Every person who came before me up here talked about in your mind. There are things that happen in your mind. You can't see it. You can't touch it. It is our spirit, our divine spirit, that we have to get back in touch with. While it's encased in this physical body, we must learn to trust ourselves. For when we learn to trust self, then I know when to trust you. But if I've never trusted myself, I'll never know how to trust you. And this is where we fall short. For we always are seeking someone outside of us to assist us. Tell me what, give me this. And we don't trust ourselves. We disregard ourselves. We push ourselves aside. We don't want to listen to self.
That's right.
How do we build our own confidence unless we start learning how to trust self? This day is about death, for real, and about making that transition. We use the word death, but it's really about making a transition. It's going from one state to another state, and there's a lot of scariness around it. But if you've learned to trust self, there is nothing to fear. It's just another transition. And you'll still be spirit, you just won't have the physical body. But you'll still be in the spirit. For that is who you are truly. You are spirit. So when I went into meditation and I asked the ancestors, what is it that we can do for you? Number one thing is to forgive. Whatever was going on between you and anybody who's made their transition, forgive. Forgive them for being silly. Forgive them for not loving you enough, not caring for you enough, for any bad habits they had. Just forgive things while they were here to know as much as we know today, working in our own physical bodies. Forgive them. It was hard. It was difficult. Just as you may find your day difficult and hard for you. Some of the things, to have the courage to say the things that you need to say to people. To say, I love you, or to be a loving person when it's very difficult to be a loving person to someone. They had the same challenges that you have. It was just a different time and a different place. The pain is still just as great with them because they carry that over with them. That imprinted pain that when they didn't know how or when to love you, they carried that with them. So they still feel the pain. But knowing that you can forgive them and that you understand the errors and the mistakes that they made, you free them and you make it a little bit easier for them. They want you to call upon them and to do great things. They want your success, whatever you perceive that to be. But in your perceiving of that success, you have to trust yourself that you're going to do the right thing. And whatever that right thing is the desire that is within your heart about who and what you are. Because you truly are divine. Whether you know it or not, you truly are divine. And when we don't trust ourselves, we stifle who we are. And we don't allow ourselves to be that divine person. And when we stifle ourselves, if I'm stifling me, then you're going to stifle you. Because you're not going to know how to deal with me because I'm not being true to me. And me is that spirit, and it is the manifestation of this physical body that you see. It is that divine combination that we're working with, the physical body and the spirit. And it is truly a divine combination because each one of us decided on how we were going to appear, what essence we were going to give to the world, and how we were going to express it. Each one of us made that decision of how we were going to express the divinity that's within us. Don't be afraid of self. Whatever your self is, be it happy, sad, a mean self, a good self, whatever you perceive that to be it to the fullest, be it to the max. Because when you shine, you allow and give permission for others to shine. This day of transition, the only thing that the ancestors have done is shed the physical body. They're still here, and they're willing to work with you. They're willing for you to call upon them and to ask for any assistance that you think that you need. But you have to ask. And so many of us don't. We don't really ask for the assistance. We just assume that it's going to be there. But that great prophet, Yahshua, had told us, ask and ye shall receive. Ask and wait. We are so accustomed to getting things so quick, the microwave, we're in a hurry, we gotta get it. Ask the question and sit and be quiet, be still. Feel your spirit responding to you. For your spirit will always respond to you. It will always give you what it is that you need, whether you know it or not, consciously. Consciously. Because we know that you know everything subconsciously. You are aware of every aspect, everything, every word that you say, everything that you do, and how you have created your life to be. We've given ourselves a metaphysical cop-out by saying, I don't know. I didn't do that. It's not vain to say that you are God, because you are. You are the God of this earth. You're not the creator, but you are God. And I know that's a heavy mantle, for us to carry. And the only reason why it appears to be so heavy is because we don't trust. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to do the right thing. We don't trust ourselves that everything's going to turn out correctly. Mm-hmm. But if we just allow, that's the big thing, just allow things to be, allow it to happen. Allow yourself to be who you say that you are. Whatever that may be. If you say you're an idiot, then be the best idiot. And I don't think that anybody in here actually thinks that. But these are the words that we'll tell ourselves. I'm an idiot, I'm silly, I'm stupid, I'm fat, I'm fat, all of those things. So the God consciousness in you just says yes. The Creator only says yes to us. Whatever it is that we put out, and you say that it is, it will be. Whatever you say. So it goes back to us knowing the words that we use and how to use our words correctly. Understanding the spells and what it is that we're going to say when we are manifesting out of our mouths. The ancestors are there to assist us in this process. What they're asking is that you get to know who they are so that you understand who it is that you're asking for assistance for. If you think that you want to be a great writer, then call upon an ancestor who's a great writer. Invoke that spirit to be around you when you're writing. If you're going to be a great singer, invoke Lena Horne. Ask her to be there when you're singing. If you're going to be a great doctor, ask one of the great doctors, Hippocrates, to come and be with me. Let me think the original thoughts. Let me think in a different way. Ask, and you shall receive. I want to read this poem by Khalil Gibran. Then Almitra spoke, saying, he would ask now of death. And he said, you would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind into the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies a silent knowledge of the beyond. And like the seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fears of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before kings whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet he is not more mindful of the trembling. For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from the restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Wow. Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall climb your limbs, then shall you truly dance. I just think that's such a beautiful poem when you think about it. How would you respond without having a body? Wow. How would you live your life without the body? When the wind blows, when you go out into the sea and you lose yourself in the water and you don't think about the body at all. Or when you see a beautiful picture and you close your eyes and you just go inside and you get lost and there's no body for me to relate to, just the silence, the quiet. And even in that silence or in that quietness, there is light. So even in what we call the death transition, there's life. There is no fear. But while we're here, it is up to each one of us to live our lives to the fullest, to live it to the best of your ability, to realize that there are no limitations on you, none. Not even the perceived ones that we think, and we have many that we perceive that are limitations for us. We must learn to find the courage to be of good cheer, to have our faith and our confidence, to transcend this life and all of its royalty, all of our glory, and be divinely one. For that is who we are. This is what the ancestors are wanting for us. Because the consciousness of the ancestors that was, is, and we know We know. We're looking for someone to tell us in an affirmative, and we're not going to get it. We have to be it. We have to be that knowledge. We have to be that understanding that we say that we know. We have to be the ones to manifest it, to express it. For this is the conscious time for it to be received. And if we know this and then we still don't do this, we don't do the action, we don't manifest it, then everything that we think that's negative, that we deserve, we shall get. It's time for us to make that turn, to change it around. We may be on that beginning crest of the turn, but if we make that turn, then I guarantee you that all of the young ones that come behind us will feel more comfortable in making that turn and stepping up and doing it a little bit differently. Just a little bit differently. Learning to love our young ones and taking care of them, giving them that unconditional love that they need so that they can flower into the people that we know that they can be. We have to stop allowing people to give us their interpretations of how our children should be, or how we should be, or how we should look, or how we should do things. It's way past time. Way, way past time. But it's not too late. It is never, ever too late. So we can change just like that, within the twinkling of an eye. By just saying that we're going to do it, we can do it. But it's going to take you trusting you, me trusting me, because when I trust me, and you're trusting you, and we hold hands, then we got a firm foundation to build upon, because that becomes two pillars. And if we're understanding the same thing, then that thing that we're understanding now has a foundation, and it can be supported. These are the things that we have to do. We have to understand that the ancestors are there for us to assist us. They haven't gone anywhere. They just released the body, the physical body. We have to trust ourselves and then learn to trust one another. And your body will tell you those that you don't need to trust or to stay away from them until they get themselves to a place where they can now be trusted. Because there's some of us who don't understand that. And it's not for us to throw them away, it's for us to leave them alone for a while. They'll come around. Because they have to have the example, and we have to be that example to teach them who do not know. It is not such an awesome task. We just have to perform. We just have to do what we know to do. And do it. Because we all know. We understand this. There's nothing to be afraid. If you're with me and I'm with you, there's nothing to be afraid of. We just have to walk this walk together. The ancestors are there to support us. The whole creation is here to support you. Everything in this creation is here to support your divine thought. Everything. The crystals want to work with you. The incense, the ants, the animals, the food, the trees, the plants, everything is here to support you. Everything here, the water, everything wants to be a part of your world. We just have to learn and trust ourselves that we can direct our world in the way that we say that we want it to be, and then do it. If you get a little nervous, give me a call. Give me a call. Get a little scared, give me a call. I get scared too.
Give me a call.
We all get afraid. And it's okay. It's okay to feel the fear and do it anyway. do it anyway. So, the ancestors are waiting for us to ask. And just before you meditate, you can sit down and ask them, to assist you. And if you're a little afraid sometimes in meditation, you can create the ring past knot. You can see a ring of fire around you, because fire is a natural protection. So you can see a ring of fire around yourself and then ask, invoke the ancestors to come in. Because I know a lot of times people are afraid to invoke that which they can't see and then get spooked. But it's not about being spooked. It's not about us not knowing. It's about us knowing and being comfortable in the knowing. That's what's been keeping us separated, because we get spooked. I don't know. I'm afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be afraid of. So with that, I'm going to close and let somebody, I think somebody else is going to do a thing, do a song. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to light candles for our ancestors. And when you say the name of your ancestor, we're going to ring the bell, and you just light the candle and then put it in the sand. Okay. And I'm going to ask my friend to come up and work with me. And I'll go first. And I light this candle for both my mom and dad. That's Marion and Odessa Dixon. I think they did a heck of a job with me. So I light this candle for them. And just whenever you feel it come up and light.
I'm going to also light this candle for my mother, Myrtle Williams, my father, Clovis Williams, and my brother, Howard Williams, who have helped shape my life.
I light this candle for William Thomas Porter, my dad, who never left. I'm going to light this candle for my grandmother, Carrie Scott Bascom, my grandfather, Benny E. Bascom, who are the foundations and the shoulders upon which I stand, and many others stand as well.
I just counted my brother's Herman, Edward Kirkland, and my dad, Frank Kirkland. And for my soulmate, Muhammad.
I'm going to light this candle for my grandmother, Lindsay, and my brother, Mel.
I like this candle for all those who to assist me in my journey, knowingly or unknowingly.
Light this candle for all my aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandfathers that I know I still sense have some input. I had a lot to do with shaping and gearing and rearing me to where I am. I light this candle to promote truth, peace, freedom, and justice throughout the planet.
Light this candle for my mother and father, James and Ruby Hurt, and for my niece, Tiffany Glenn. And I light this candle for my grandmother, Flora Hall, my great grandmother, David Tucker, and Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Prophet Milton Juwali, and all of the ambitious and Paul Network.
And now we're gonna turn off the lights and just have a little moment of silence, meditation if you like. We're not gonna say anything, it's just a moment of silence for the ancestors.
Sorry, we'll go down. We are preparing to be with you again. Missing the point of who we are when we came. And as reality deceives us, we lose our aim. We get in the way of ourselves. We need to sense the call. We get in the way of ourselves. And we make it so hard. Star people go down. We are prepared to be with you again. Star people go down. We are prepared to be with you again. So as we sit around, we thoughts of the way we be. And as we swing back and forth, one day we will wake from this free and see that Star people go down, we are preparing to be with you again. Star people go down, we are preparing to be with you again. Star people go down, we are prepared to be with you again.
Peace be still. Be still and feel the presence of your ancestors here, embracing you, loving you, unconditionally. This life that we live is truly a gift. Let us now open up our minds and our hearts and receive this gift gladly, living it to the fullest, knowing and affirming that we are the divine people and walking in that authority and knowledge of our divinity. Let no man make you feel weak, inadequate, for you are who we have been waiting for. Express your true love for all of this creation. Ashe. Ashe. Watch your eyes, the lights are on the background. And the fan for those who need it. Do we have any announcements or things that are going on in the community?
Yes. Darlene is having a flea market down in the Illinois today. It's, I think until 4 o'clock of June. 21st of June.
Okay.
So correction, not today, this weekend, it's 21st of June.
Okay.
So, yes, it's a flea market.
And if anyone is interested in renting a space or a table, you let us know. You just need a space, it's 25, you need a space and the table's 35. For an average table, if you need a bigger table, it's 35.
Also, Arlene had a sick emergency this past week. She called me from the hospital, called that had to be removed.
Oh, wow.
So that's why she didn't make it Friday evening to the gathering. And so I told her I would, share that information. There was some positive energy in her way.
Mm.
Is she in the hospital?
Yeah, she's in the hospital. She's recovering now.
What hospital is she in?
I'm not sure. She called from her cell phone, so she is sitting on her cell phone. So if you want to reach out, call or text or something.
You guys really working with that. Any other announcements? Meetings?
And, you know, we do have that silent retreat that's coming up in October, so please, everybody, let's move toward that and get prepared for it. And our Emerald Ball that's coming up in September. Do you have anybody you'd like to nominate for a particular honor? Let us know that also.
I'm also, gonna let you guys know, we had rescheduled that, cabaret last time, it's next Friday. And it's a musical showcase, it's no longer two bands, just one band. Really, the two bands were always one, we just kind of, put it all together, so we're gonna do a musical showcase from 7 to 11. And it's in Bethesda, right across from Gordon Taylor, Eden Taylor's, right up to a nice place, free parking. It's BYOL, you know what the cabaret is. Bring some food and bring what you like, and we'll provide the music and the space, and you can come and have fun with us. Because we like to do that. Okay. David, you have an answer?
Oh yeah, we'll be starting the astrological class next Sunday after the service. And it's for people who think they don't understand astrology, it's really just the principles of life. And we give you some insight and tips on how to use the energy and maybe even read a few things.
Anybody else? That's it.
What time is that class? That's 3
o'clock.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. We're also scheduled to meet, I guess, for 4 days class to discuss some things regarding IMA as well. Update and see what's happening, where we are.
Are we meeting today?
Next Sunday.
And Dr. Wright is having a class too. His is on the lymphatic system. And I forget what day he said he was gonna start that class. But he'll be here next Sunday.
Oh yeah, and there's going to be a heart test therapy certification starting June 11th through July 2nd. It's a 4-week course as well, so that will be on the calendar.
And we also have a summer camp coming to the center in Cheverly, Empowerment Center. So if you know youths between the age of 8 and 14 or 16, really, you're junior camp counselor. It's a 10-week course. It includes all kinds of subjects, including science, math, engineering, art history and culture, arts and youth movement. This is a 10-week course, but you can come in and out as you like. There'll be field trips and so on. And there may even be some scholarships and some assistance with camp financing. So if you want to find out any information about it, Crystal's the one that we'll be in contact with. But you can give me a call and I'll give your number if you don't have it. Same way for the tickets this week. If anybody does want to go, just give me a call. If you don't have my number, to read it or Chef Hanson.
Never mind, we do have meditation every day, Wednesday through Friday here at ISC at noon. And also, we're going to be, Dr. You and I, our next emotional wellness class will be actually in June. So, June 19th, I think. So, we're going to be taking a pause for the call as we reorganizing the information and things like that. So.
Also, this past Friday, we had a wonderful time at our potluck meeting of the Minds and Spirits on Friday night. We had a ball. I was here in physical, but mainly in spirit because my energy was toasted, but I still absorbed so much from the whole group. We had fun.
Oh, and we're having a graduation, in a couple of, when is it? June 21st? Oh, okay. So we would like for those of you who'd like to come and enjoy it with us to stay tuned. For ISE,
Okay.
there is one student that is now completing her, divinity cycle, and is going to be elevated to, in the final stages, I suppose, divinity specifics, but she's completing her course, yeah.
She'll be a minister. We start this working on ourselves spiritually. She's the only one that finished out of a class. I think it was 6 of them.
8.
8. It was 8.
They took that to God.
Wow. And she was the only one that actually completed. And this is what we say to, you know, when you put your foot on the path and you say, I'm going to do a thing, or I'm going to, whatever it is, gotta complete, because you're gonna get the lesson either way. Whether you come and sit with us, and it'll be a little bit speeded up for you then, because then you start seeing yourself, and the universe will start giving you lessons, or you can take the hard road out there by yourself and experiencing things in life, getting knocked upside your head and wondering, why is this happening? What is this? What is that? I don't know. You know, it's like walking down the street with your head up in the air. You're not watching where you're going. So when you say to the universe that you're going to do this and then you stop, the universe will get you back. And it's just you learning the lesson, but we have to understand when we walk our walk, we have to walk our walk. And she was the only one. Everybody else, let's see, and we always have the excuses. Everybody has an excuse for anything. But anything that they want to do, they'll have an excuse. I don't want to do it. I don't have enough money. I'm pregnant. I'm getting married. I got cancer. Whatever. You know, so anyway, with that said, we're going to pray ourselves out. And this day wants to do some messages. Just got something for us? Oh, good. Come on.
Greetings. It's good to see you all here. I just want to add on to the potluck. I don't even know what to call it. It wasn't just a party.
It was experience.
Yeah, it was an experience. Living an experience that I've had in quite a while. And some of the things that came up, just talking to the different people, I wish I could share it with you. But it ties into what was expressed today. Our two students and from Reverend Rita about consciousness and getting outside the box. All of us live inside the box every day. That's not a question. So you don't have to think about that. We all experience consciousness through our thinking, one of the tools, and through our willing, and through our feeling. The challenge is that when we come into the world, those things kind of work together. You know, we don't have to think about it. When you're a little kid, you just do things, you know how to do things surprisingly well. And as you get older, it seems like you forget. And I'm here to remind you that that's part of the process, because people beat up on themselves when they forget. But forgetting is part of the process. And we forget a lot of things. A lot of things we need to forget, a lot of things that we should forget, we hold on to. And this is part of the path also, that we become consciously aware of what we hold on to and why are we holding on to it. Because this is what causes the challenges in our life, then we say no to. And then we forget the most important part of that lesson. I don't have to tell any of you, because I know you all have challenges that you haven't let go of. And you're still holding on to them. What is that about? To take you outside the box, that's what we're going to do right now. We honor our ancestors. There are all the candles that are burning. I want to remind you that you were once an ancestor. And people honored you, but you've forgotten that. That's one of the things that we've forgotten. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just going to put it on the shelf for you to look at later on, because it's important that you remember it. Not to focus on it, dwell on it, just to look at it and see what you see. See yourself as being an ancestor. What does that look like? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you think? Since you have those tools, I want you to use them. I don't want you to put a limitation on them either. Right? There is no limit unless you set a limit. And we want to remind you that. That's what we're always reminding our students up here in the class. The only limitations are the ones that we set for ourselves. And it's good to have boundaries, because we find out how to define things. That's part of being in this world. This world is a dualistic system. We teach that up here in the class also, but everybody already knows that. There's two sides to everything, at least, in a major sense. And that's another thing that we tend to forget, especially when you get in a conversation with somebody we don't agree with. We think there's only one side, our side. And we forget about their side. But their side compliments us all the time. There's always a compliment to whatever there is, and when you forget it, you're going to have some serious challenges. And that's what challenge is for, just to remind you there's another side to what you're talking about, to what you're thinking, to what you're feeling. And it's good for you not to forget that, because it'll make your walk much easier, much simpler. That's right. That's all we have to do. Asking that's a lot. It's a challenge. You say, wow, it's a challenge. And the thing to go along with it, and this will really make us back off, is that there's going to be some pain involved. Like, oh, wait a minute. We don't want to go there. I said, but you go there anyway. You know, as you grow older, the body starts giving you challenges that reflect the places that you wouldn't let go of. The things that you thought you didn't have to do. So the classes that you went to that you dropped out of, you thought you had an excuse to get around it, but now it's showing up as a challenge in your life, in your body. And it's asking you, well, what are you going to do about this now? This is the question that's always in front of you. This is why you came to this plane, to answer that question. Part of the answer to that question is you have to go through pain, plain and simple. You're going to have to accept the pain. You can't get away from it. You can run for a long time, but it runs just as fast as you do. And it has unlimited ability. It's eternal, just like you are. And if you can hear it, it actually is you. You've been running from yourself. That's why you couldn't get away. Everywhere you turn, it turns up. Every relationship you have is challenging. You get rid of the person, but then you get somebody else that takes that place to fill that void. Nature hates a void. And we'll always see that it's filled. And you're the one that puts it up. I'd like to share some things that I had going during the week. Yesterday, I watched a movie with my sister. I think it's a Spike Lee joint, one of his movies called Miracle at St. Anna. And it was a movie about World War II, but it started in Harlem. It started off with this guy. He was a postage worker in the post office, and people were coming to his window asking for stamps. A couple of people came and asked for stamps and gave it to him. Then a brother came up, had a box, put it on the table. He said he wanted this box airmail. So the guy just pointed up to his sign. It said stamps only. I said, I don't know when Spike Lee made this picture, but he must be getting better, because he was developing so many things about what we teach up here. The sign is there for us to see, but we don't follow it. We do what we want to do. He had to get out of line and go. A Caucasian gentleman comes up and says, 30-cent stamp, please. And so the postal worker's looking at him. And you just see he has these horn glasses on, he's just looking at this Caucasian guy. And the Caucasian guy is, working through the stuff, getting ready to give him this 30 cents for a stamp. But the stamp wasn't forthcoming, and he asked for the stamp again. He said, sir, 30-cent stamp. And when he looked up, the postal worker pulled out a German Luger, boom! Shot him right in the chest. Guy fell on the ground, everybody starts clearing out, you know what happens when you hear gunshots. Clear the room, national emergency. The postal worker just closed his little window, had a little close sign on it, closed up his box, and he was waiting for the police to come. They took him away, it was no problem. A reporter came, wanted to know what was going on, so the chief detective told him, he said, well, everybody's already been here reading the newspaper. He said, but I'm a reporter, I have to have something to say that those other guys aren't going to say. So he let him go with the guy up to his house, and he found this bust of an Italian god, the relic from World War II. But they didn't know what it meant, so they took it to somebody to curate to see what it was. And it turns out that it was over 400 years old. Didn't know what he was doing in his office. And why did he shoot this guy? He's not talking to anybody. The only thing that he said is that he knew who the sleepy man was. This ties us into consciousness again, because who is the sleepy man? The sleepy man is us. Even when we believe we're awake, you know, when you're walking down the street, do you remember everything that happened? But you fall asleep from time to time. Then wake back up and wonder, where was I just now? What's that question? After that, they flashed the picture back to World War II. A bunch of brothers were walking across the field, and then they had to cross this river. And it was, what was it? Buffalo Soldier Company, I think that's what they called it, because it was only black. Of course, they had a white officer. And as they're crossing the river, you start seeing different stages of consciousness being expressed. But there was a brother saying, started calling for his mama. He said he didn't want to die. And the non-coms and the officers telling him to shut up and change positions because they wanted to spread the energy out. And so I'm seeing all these men as different parts of one unit. When I think about us, I think about me doing a chart sometimes. I see we have a lot of different personalities or masks that we put on from time to time. And we show this mask at this situation, we show this mask at that situation. And I was thinking about these men walking across the river, expressing a whole lot of different things. Germans came and used psychological warfare on them, started reminding them about the situation in the United States, about black people and how Caucasians don't like them, and how they were using them as an experiment to find out what the Germans were, but they weren't going to use their Caucasian lives to do it. So, Caucasian officers saying, he's trying to start a race war. So who's he talking to? Nothing but brothers. I say, what kind of consciousness is that? Is he awake? Is he the sleeping man that they're going to talk about later on in the movie? I don't know. It would only develop and a lot of guys got wiped out. 4 of them made it across. 4 is a number if you start watching movies and learn how to watch them. Spike Lee's getting pretty good, and he's using a lot of symbolism to see what's really going on. The 4 marks your square, where you stand, what you stand on. But it has 4 different corners, and so these 4 different brothers had different ways of approaching things. They were complementary, and they were conflicting, just like with us. We have conflicts that we create for ourselves, especially when we don't know we're working together, even when we know we're working together. These guys are in the war, so you know they got to be working together. But they didn't seem to get along too well. One guy was forward thinking, the other one, and he called the other one Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was pretty educated. He understood a lot of things. And then there was a guy from the country. Didn't know too much, pretty simple-minded, but had a lot of high principles that nobody understood. As the picture progressed, he linked to a little Caucasian child. They learned to speak, not the Italian language, but they made signs with each other. A suggestion for us that we can do. Start noticing the signs that we show ourselves in our life of what's going on, what time it is. when danger comes up, they had a sign and they showed it. I'm not going to tell you, you might want to watch this picture, so I won't spoil it for you, but the conflicting things that were happening throughout the movie. At the beginning, when the guy got taken to jail, they switched to Italy. And there was a guy who just got up from making love with his girlfriend and went out to sit in the living room. And he's out there going to read the paper. And this article about this guy in America found that shot somebody, and he had this bust that said the Marvel Man murdered somebody. He had just getting ready to read it, and the girlfriend comes out into the room, and he says, "Not now, baby. We've been gone for 2 days." He said, "I need a break." He said, "The town's pretty cool people. Don't like this stuff." But she comes out anyway. And so I see the feminine nature and the power that it has over the masculine nature that Spike Lee is showing everybody. So she sits in his lap and then takes the paper out of his hand and throws it out over the porch. It falls downstairs to these people who are at a coffee shop, and it lands on the table of a person that you don't know. He looks at the paper, and when he sees it, he stands up. Which it goes in slow motion. His coffee starts spilling out the cup. He drops it, it breaks on the ground. And then he runs across the plaza. And what's going on? That ties into the picture that you'll see. And that's part of the miracle that happens in our lives. And the thing that I wanted to point out was that these two people about to make love, that's the creative act that all of us have the power to do. And it's not just the sexual thing that's creative, but you create a child, whether it's a material one or not. And the child that was created was connected to the paper that went over the porch and landed to this person as a message. And it started a string that went across over 50 years and tied all these people who had been in the square, outside of the square, and inside of the square into one life and one message. And the one message is the one that's being delivered to you today, that you're going to have to die. You're going to have to go across the threshold. That's one of the reasons you came here, to experience that. You've already done it before, and this is one of the things that you've forgotten. This is one of the things that ISE was built to help you remember. Because when you remember it and focus on it, you will begin to see what your true strength is. Because you've never looked at it before, you had no clue. You didn't know what it was about. You didn't know what was in there. And this is what we're encouraging you to do. Just stop, slow down, and look. Everybody that came in here today came through that door. That door is a threshold. It's a threshold from the outside world into the spiritual one. When you come in here, we got lots of ancestors in here that are ready, willing, and able to help you. All you have to do is want to open up. You coming in here is saying that's what you want to do. So I hope you return again. I'm not trying to scare you away. We're just telling you what you're going to be dealing with when you come here. Everybody has strengths and everybody has weaknesses. Everybody in here is at least 28, I guess. And at that age, I'm going to remind you what you forgot. An angel came to you and whispered in your ear that you're not strong enough to finish what you came to do in this life. Plain and simple, you just don't have the strength to do it. But it's encouraging you to continue on your path anyway, because you'll build your strength as you go. And he's giving you that message, or she's giving you that message, for the encouragement, to let you know that it's not about the end result, it's about the journey. It's about you learning and strengthening yourself with every step that you take, with everything that you do, with everything that you think, with everything that you feel. And through that thinking and feeling that you will gather up your will to be able to do what you came to do eventually. There's no time like the present. The present is now, and it's going to give it to you.
Alright, that was a good one. I've seen that movie, it's good. You should also let something stand and pray ourselves out. And here we do boy, girl. Thumbs left. Get the energy rolling. Yeah, we got more women today than the men. Standing on our square. Say to yourself, peace, be still. Be still and know that you are the divine one. You are who we have been waiting for. Allowing your heart and your mind and your spirit to be open and receptive to this universal flow of unconditional love. Let us work in the divine harmony of who we are as these divine people, expressing our uniqueness into this creation. We say Ashe, 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 Ashe. So it is. There's food in the back. Give a hug, get a hug. Shoes that you trust.
Answers the body. Never mind. Practicing yourself. No, the secret's stuff. That's the very good thing. Who's in favorite talk? He's ready to steamroll. Where you going?
Is that still playing?
If you say stop broadcast.
Oh, yes, next Friday.